Representative Stephen King. This is a story that we covered yesterday on the program, it's a vote that was 399-1 in the House, and Stephen King from Iowa was the only guy who voted against this bill. So what was the bill? It was to commemorate the slaves who built the Capitol building. In the Visitor Center, they were going to put up a little plaque and say, hey, you know what, we want to recognize the people who actually built this building. Makes sense to put it in the Visitor Center. And how they worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, building this building when they were, of course, slaves at the time. So, now, look, I don't like senseless resolutions that commemorate things that we're all already aware of. But in this case, they're actually putting something physical in the building to give an acknowledgement to the people who built the building. So I think it makes all the sense in the world. It's not just a do-nothing resolution. It does something. So, and of course, on the substance of it, you can't argue with it. Except for Steve King, who thinks, well, I got an issue here. Well, first, it was reported that he said, well, he doesn't like these kind of frivolous resolutions. Then he went on to clarify, well, he does as long as it's about Christianity. And in fact, that there's a whole, issue about whether they should have put up a plaque that said, "In God We Trust" first, recognizing what a wonderful Christian nation this is, or put up the plaque about slavery. I'll give you some quotes from Representative King from Iowa. He said, our Judeo-Christian heritage is an essential foundation stone of our great nation and should not be held hostage to yet another effort to place guilt on future Americans for the sins of some of their ancestors. And he said that this was a plot by the, quote, liberals in Congress. So you begin to get a sense of where Representative King is coming from. That it's not so much about, hey, you know what, I don't like these kind of resolutions, or haggling over whether we're going to put a plaque that says "In God We Trust" or not. This thing just kind of rubs them raw a little bit. Well, funny enough, today he's doing an interview, and he gives a slightly different reason for why he opposed the resolution. So all of a sudden things change a little bit, and I don't think this one plays well either. Get a load of this.
And I would just add that, there were about 645,000 slaves that were brought to the United States, and I'm with Martin Luther King Jr. on this.
Sure.
His documents and his speeches, I read most of them, and I agree with almost every word that came out of him.
Of course.
Slavery was abhorrent, but it was also a fact of life in those centuries where it existed. And of the 645,000 Africans that were brought here to be forcibly put into slavery in the United States, there were over 600,000 people that gave their lives in the Civil War to put an end to slavery. And I don't see the monument to that in the Congressional Visitors Center, and I think it's important that we have a balanced depiction of history.
Do you know that there's a book dedicated to Civil War monuments? Because there are so many of them. Representative King, you couldn't find any Civil War monuments in America? Are you kidding me? Now, why they're not in the Visitor Center of the Capitol building is because the Civil War heroes didn't build the Capitol building. That's why you put the monuments elsewhere, where they fought, etc., etc. Now, come on, this ain't got nothing to do with it. And by the way, he says, look, slavery was a fact of life. Sad day for you. Move on. Now, the thing is, I actually am not that opposed to that statement, although it sounds incredibly callous, right? Slavery was a fact of life. Not just here in America, but throughout the world. And you can list dozens of examples of different races, ethnicities, nationalities, etc., enslaved by others, right? But that's not the issue at hand. Even if you agree with that, that's a fact. Yes, that did happen. It doesn't make it a pleasant fact. It makes it a very unpleasant fact. But even if you agree with that, this isn't the issue. The issue is, should we tell the people who come to the Capitol building, oh, by the way, the thing that you're in now was built by slaves who busted their ass over this involuntarily? It's an interesting note, isn't it? Look, just as an informational thing, I would find it interesting. But as you can tell from this tape and his earlier explanation, which was completely different, this doesn't have anything to do with who built the Capitol and this resolution, etc. Representative King has had enough talk about slavery. He's like, we don't have any kind of balance here. It's always slavery, slavery, slavery. I know. When you turn on CNN or any of the news channels, they can't stop talking about slavery. What? Okay, anyway, when he says, instead we should be talking about those Civil War heroes, etc. Look, it's all abundantly clear. Representative King, I see you. I see you. Okay. The sins of the past, and you're trying to put them on us. Nobody's trying to do anything like that, okay? But it's obvious that that's what's under your skin. Think about it.